This video focuses on developing students' knowledge and skills in respect to number partners to 100 and 1000. Students' knowledge and skills of number partners are incredibly important in maths. We start at number partners to 10, often called rainbow facts, extend that to 20 and make connections between the 10s and the 20s. Then we want to scale up to 100 and 1000 and make connections there. The routine we're going to use is I have, you need, which was developed by Pam Harris and Kim Montague of mathisfigureoutable.com. We start by selecting our target number. In this case, it's going to be 100. Then we choose our starting number. That'll be our I have. In this case, I have 89. Harris and Montague suggest that we choose numbers in the top half of the range that we're working within, and we choose numbers that are close to anchor or benchmark numbers first. So if I have 89, how many more do I need to reach 100? 89 plus something equals 100, or 100 minus something equals 89. When students have worked it out, they put their thumb in front of their chest, and here we encourage them to come up with different ways of solving it, so they could put two fingers in front of their chest if they've worked out two strategies or ways of solving this problem. Now the answer is important, but what's even more essential here is the students' reasoning, their explanations for how they arrived at that answer. And that's where these two questions, how do you know and show how you know, are really important. We then check in with students in terms of the answer that they arrived at. And we check in with a number of students to see what the different answers they've come up with and see if we can find a common answer. Now there might be some common errors or even some different errors, and what I would suggest here is that you park those or note those down to come back to later. What you really want to focus on here is the 11. Okay, so 89 plus 11 equals 100. We then pose the question, how do you know? How do you know that 89 plus 11 equals 100? And as the students are answering, then we demonstrate how to represent that thinking. We model that for them. So in this case, the student added 1 from 99, so 89 plus 1, so that's just a tiny jump, okay, to get to 90, and they plus 1. And then they just added 10 more to get to the 100, so plus 10. So altogether, they've added 1 and 10, 11 to the 89 to get to 100, as you can see here. The name of this strategy is get to a friendly number. And the friendly number in this case is 90. It's important to note here that we name the strategy based on the student's first move, the first thing that they do when they're approaching this problem. So in this case, their first move was to get to a friendly number from 89 to 90 plus 1. We can also check if students came up with other strategies as well. So for example, I start at 89, I add 10, I add 1 plus 1, and that gets me to 100. 89 plus 10 plus 1 equals 100. As students are explaining their strategies, it's really important to keep making connections, drawing their attention to connections that can help them. So in this case, we can draw attention to the rainbow facts. We've got 9 and 1. The 9 and 1 equals 10. So there's our rainbow facts. Then we've got our 80 and our 10 here. So we've got 80 plus 10 equals 90, and then together those are 100. So keep making connections back to the rainbow facts and other number facts that we've learned that can help them in solving these problems for number partners to 100 and to 1000 and beyond. Now, in terms of a teaching sequence, I'd suggest that you be purposeful in your choice of numbers. So we started with 89 and established that 89 and 11 are number partners to 100. Then the next day, or the next time that you do the routine, I'd suggest that you flip those numbers as in the turnaround facts. So then we start with, I have 11. How much do I need to reach 100? So that we establish those number partners together. You'll also see a bit of a pattern here in terms of the other numbers that I've chosen in this sequence. So you'll see the 9 and the 1, 9, 1, 9, 1. So we're reinforcing that 9 and 1 is 10 and the 1 and 9 is 10. So we keep reinforcing that and using that as a cue in terms of working out these number problems. Now, it could also be that you mix it up a little bit, and so you start off by grouping these two together one day after the other and reinforcing the turnaround facts or the commutative property. And then you might jump to another one in the set, okay, and make it a bit more random in terms of what you're choosing there and not necessarily doing it all in order. I guess what I'd say is really important here is keeping on establishing that 9 and 1 and the 1 and 9. They can be really important visual cues or things to look for when solving problems. Here's an anchor chart that you might use in terms of the problems that you present to students. In this example that I've shown you, we've worked on the 9 and 1 is 10 and 1 and 9 is 10. And then we can reinforce it through these problems that we present to the students. So if we have a number like 79 and we're looking to see how close that is to 100 or the distance from 79 to 100, then we'll know through working through these I have you need problems and working on patterns, a pattern sequence, that with this other number here, then there has to be a 1 in the ones column here because we've got that 9 and 1 equals 10. So 79 plus 1 gets us to that friendly number of 80. And then we just have plus 20 gets us to 100. Then if we do the commutative property, the 21 plus something equals 100, we know that there's going to be a 9 in this ones column because the 9 and the 1, the rainbow facts, make that 10, and then the 0 in the ones column for the 100. So using that rainbow fact, 21 plus 9, the 1 and the 9, then that gets us to our 30, and then we just need 70 more to get to our 100. Here's a way to make connections from the number partners to 100 to 1000 through the routine. If I know, then I can also work out. So let's try this out. If I know 89 plus 11 equals 100, then I can also work out 890 plus something equals 1000. Here we can see that from 89 to 890, we're scaling up by 10. Similarly, if we're going from 100 to 1000, we're also scaling up by 10. So to work out what our missing number here is, we can just scale this 11 up by 10. So that would be 110. 890 plus 110 equals 1000. We could also work it out in the following ways. 890, we can add our 10 to get to 900, and then add another 100 to get to 1000. And I guess there to also make that connection of our 90 and 10 is 100. Put them together, 900 plus 100 equals 1000. Someone else might solve it. 890 plus 100 gets us to 990 plus 10 equals 1000. There's our 90 and 10. That gets us to 100. Then we add on our 900. 900 plus the 100 gets us to 1000. Here's a way to reinforce or consolidate these number partners. Let's focus on making 100. In this example, I generate around 6 numbers, and I found that works really well from years 3 upwards, but you could decide depending on the level of your students. We ask the students to make 100. So that means to look for the numbers that add up to 100. That's their first task. Here I ask them to think about visual cues that could help them in the numbers. So for example, we're looking to make 100. So in the ones column, there needs to be a 0. So as we look at these numbers then, we're going to be looking for rainbow facts, numbers that add up to 10, that have a 0 in the ones column. So students identify that 67 and 33, they make 100, and they've noticed that 7 and the 3 that make the rainbow facts. So let's document that. 67 plus 33 was 67 plus 3, there's our rainbow facts, gets us to our 70, plus 30 equals 100. Then we might also find that we've got the 59 and 41. Like again, we've got that 9 and the 1, that'll make a 0 in the ones column. 59 plus 41 equals 59 plus 1 gets us to our 60 plus 40 equals 100. What have we got left? Well, we've got nothing else that will add up to 100. We haven't got any rainbow facts here that'll make a 0 in the ones column, so we're left with 54 and 92 to add as our final numbers in the sequence. So we've got 54 and 92. So let's add these two. I'm going to add 8 to that 92 to make it more of a friendly number. So if I've added 8 to that side, then I need to take away 8 from the 54. And so that will get us to 46. So 46 plus 100 equals 146. Then we add them all up, and we've got 200, and then we've got 146, so 200 plus 146 equals 346 as our total. This is a really simple game once students get to know how to play it, and they're really engaged with it and really want to have a go and try very hard with this. Let's step this game up quite a bit further now by making 1000. The visual cue here, the visual prompt, the thing that we're wanting our students to look for are the number partners to 100. They're critical here. So I know that 77 and 23 make 100 from the work that we've been doing in class. So let's group those together. 677 plus 323 is 1000. So we've got our 77 and we've got our 23, and that makes 100. Then we've got our 600 here and our 300 here. So altogether, let's check it. We've got 600, 300, 900, 900 plus 100 is 1000. Bingo, got it. I can see 60 and a 40, they make 100. So this looks like it could add up to 1000 as well. Let's check. 260 plus 740, we think that's going to come to 1000. 60 plus 40, that gets us to 100. Then we've got 200, that gets us to 300. 100 and 200 is 300. Then we've got 700 here. 300 plus 700 equals 1000. Got it. Okay, what have we got left? We've got 892 and 738, and I can see a rainbow fact there as well. But this looks like this is going to go well over 1000. Let's see what we get. So 892 plus 738. Let's represent our thinking on a number line. 892. So if I add 8, that will get me to 900. So that strategy is get to a friendly number. Friendly number in this case, 900. Okay, so I've added 8, but I've got to add 738. So I've got another 730. I think we can do that in one big jump. Now let's add 730, and that'll get me 900 plus 730 is 1630. Now, what helps me there in terms of other knowledge is I know that 9 and 7 is 16. So 90 plus 70 would be 160, and then scale up again by 10. It's going to get me to 1,600. Now, associated facts would be, well, I know 9 and 9 is 18. That's our doubles. And so 9 and 7 is just 2 less. So that gets us our 16 there. So they're associated facts, and we want to keep drawing students' attention to those associated facts and elicit those facts from them in terms of what's helping you to solve these problems. So there you have it. There's a number of routines that can help you build and develop students' skills and knowledge with number partners to 100 and 1000. Now, it's not a matter of doing all of those things on one day. There's a number of routines that you can do over a number of days or a number of weeks. Build those routines, get students comfortable with those routines, then add on new routines. Throughout, though, it's really important that you're making connections to those rainbow facts, through the number partners to 20, to the number partners to 100, and then scaling up to 1000. Keep looking for, keep making connections, keep encouraging your students to make those connections. And be really purposeful in the numbers that you choose and the sequence of numbers that you use across a number of days or weeks. For more thinking routines, check out my YouTube channel, Thinking Maths with Greg Curran.